So natural role versus forced fit. So Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Su Anushtitat Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya Paradharmo Bhayavaha. It's a very famous shlok from Bhagavad-Gita, and I think it is very misunderstood. That's why I again put it's important. So the normal way we understand is it's better to do your duty or your dharma, even if it is not done properly, than doing the dharma of somebody else, even if you can do it properly. Now, this does not make any sense. If somebody can do a job properly, why not do it? Right? So you may develop the skills, but not the sustained aptitude. For example, a particular karma, and karma is done mean just one job. Okay, dal mein chhauk lagana. That is just one thing. But if the wife tells husband every day you have to cook dinner, then the husband might say, I am able to cook it once or twice, but I don't have the interest, aptitude, or the ability to keep doing new things every dinner, cook some new stuff. I don't have that aptitude, right? So I'll get disinterested. So one or two times he is able to do it. So what is it meaning? Dharma, when you will see it later also, that you have swa guna. Based on that guna is that inclination, your nivritti. Where are you, pravritti? Where are you inclined? So if you have interest in that, you can develop skills. Skill development is not the problem. You don't know cooking, somebody can teach you. You don't know physics, somebody can teach you. You don't know how to repair a car, somebody can teach you. Right? Skill can be acquired with some limitations. But if you don't have the aptitude, you cannot sustain it. That is the thing. So swadharma is what is saying. What is your natural inclination? What is it that you have pravritti for? Go for that role. If you don't know how to do it properly right now, you can be trained for that. That's okay. Maybe right now you know some other thing to do better, but only for short time. Once in a while you do, you say, oh yeah, I'll do it. But if you have to do it every day, then it is a problem. Then it becomes burden because you don't have much interest, right? So for example, I'll give you some examples. So some kids start playing chess. Chess is very this thing. So he is very good at the chess. Sometimes he plays and he wins, but he's not able to go much further because initially, and you just have some students and all, he wins with the friends. So he thinks, oh, I am a chess player. He doesn't know what it takes to be a chess player, how much of brain will be used, and how much you'll have to, it's a sadhana. So initially you might be able to do, then you say, oh, I'll just go a professional chess player only, I'll do. Not realizing this is not your dharma. You can't even sit in a chair for 30 minutes without moving. How will you sit for 3 hours of a chess competition? Right? So a little bit of success in doing some other job once in a while is not what your dharma, what your pravritti is. So what this says is, instead of saying that I can do that job better, can you keep doing that forever as a role? Some people like to teach, actually like to teach. They learn something, they'll share it with others. They'll share it so much, others will say, okay, don't give me any more gyan, go. They are the people who should be teachers, whichever subject they want to pick. So this shlok, which is misunderstood a lot of times, and even good intended people do not get it and then say, what is this? Why are you dividing people and all, whatever? Is there no flexibility in society to change jobs and all? It's not that. It says, pick a job, pick a role based on your pravritti so you can keep on doing it. Once or twice, if you can do a job good, doesn't mean that you can sustain it. There will be another example coming next slide. So now the question comes, and I'm going to touch this because it is important. It might not be directly, in our this thing, but it is to do with karma. So is dharma or the duty by birth, the way we understand it today, is completely wrong, right? So what it says is you are born with some swabhav and guna. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashah, right? So something you are born with, something you acquire. Nature, nurture, both things. What you're born with, you can't do much control. There's not much control at all. You have to just accept it. You can improve on it, but if you think that you can beat the Kenyans in a marathon, No, their bodies are made that way that every world marathon, every Olympics, the Kenyans and the some other countries in Africa, they all first, second, third, fourth, fifth only they will be there. So they have an advantage on the nature part of it. And based on your swabhav and guna, you decide a role, a karma that you will do in the society. So based on your inclination, your pravritti, you should decide that. Once you pick the role, the dharma of the role comes. And you should be able to sustain fulfilling that dharma for a long time. Otherwise, every week you'll be changing your job. 1 week I'll be teacher, 1 week I'll be a chef, 1 week I'll be this, 1 week I'll be that. Life doesn't work that way. Karma is inevitable. So you choose what you're inclined to, what you have aptitude for, what your ability is for, and what you can do sustained times. Remember, you can always learn a skill. Skill learning is not a problem. But to be able to do it every day happily, there you need the pravritti, the swabhav. Now, we desire the roles and positions because of the money and the fame that is involved in a particular job or particular position, even if you don't deserve it, right? So this is the one of the main crux of karma yoga, that you find your swabhava, then you find the role that suits the swabhava, and then you get the dharma and duty of that particular role. So again, as you mentioned earlier, don't desire your chair, you deserve your chair. Then the question of control comes. So again, we saw that it's not the right, but it is the control that matters. That you can only control the action, you cannot control the results. You have right on both, and we saw that why it is so, because adhikar is control, not this thing. Now, there is also one important, very interesting thing I want to tell you. I think most of you might not know. I'm not saying that, but I did not know. And anybody I've talked to, I did not know before this. So there is a prasanga in Valmiki Ramayana when Rama is getting ready to go to the Vanavasa, and Lakshman comes to his um, palace, and Ram is changing clothes to Valkal. And Lakshman says, "What is this? Dashrath is not in his right mind. He's under control of a woman, so he's intoxicated by a woman. So he's not, he doesn't have the rights to be a king anymore because he's incapacitated. And I, will take over Ayodhya by force. And my bow and arrow are not ornaments. And if anybody in Ayodhya opposes, I'll take care of them myself. You sit on the throne." So Ram tells him that no, 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 it's not so. It is the the will of Daiva that this has happened to me. I was nicer to Kaikeyi than my own mother. Nobody in Ayodhya has talked bad about me. My father, said today will be tomorrow will be today will be the coronation. Everything was done. Everything was announced. Nobody expected, and then still happened. This is Daiva. So there, Ram gives a definition of Daiva. It is not Deva, Daiva, right? Of Deva. In English, we call it destiny, but destiny doesn't have the nuance of how Rama or Valmiki ji through Rama explains what is Daiva. So he says Daiv is that which you cannot plan for. Because when you're sitting around to plan, like suppose you're going from one city to another, you're planning. What will we need? Oh, we need some lunch. Then we'll need some breakfast. We'll need some dinner. We'll need extra clothes. We'll need some towel. We need some extra shoes. Everything you're planning. Maybe you also planned, okay, I will take an umbrella also, whatever. So there is a planning phase where you are imagining what all you need. So Daiv is that which you cannot plan for because you can't even think about it. Oh, this will also happen. Can't even think. So there is no way you will prepare for it. Then there is no sign of it. So for example, if you start from your house and it is very sunny, and in the weather forecast also it says 5 days no rain, right? And you say, I don't need to take umbrella. I mean, there's no sign of it. You go out and for whatever reason, it rains. What can you do? There's no sign. So Daiv is that which you cannot think of beforehand. Foresight is not there. Forewarning is not there. There is no sign of it. And the third one is when it comes, you have no control. So that is Daiva. It is actually the X factor. You can't think of it, It does not give any sign, and when it comes, you have no control. So Rama says that, there is no sign of this coming, and that I will be sent to exile, because yesterday I was being coronated. I could never imagine that my father would say something like this. And now that he has done it, there is no control, because I cannot go against my father's commands. That is beyond my control. So if he said whatever he said, I have to do it. So he said this, so now I'll have to do it. So this is my daiva, right? So this is the X factor. No sign, no foresight, no control. Uh, Quality of engagement, sorry, the question of control we are talking about. So for example, in parents' case, I'm just trying to give some relevant examples. So they can, create a supportive environment for their children. They can provide guidance and boundaries. They can show up consistently show them love and attention and give them values and all that stuff the parent can do. But what the parents cannot control is every choice that the child is going to make. Sometimes the child will make some choices on their own, and you have to let go, right? How their personalities will develop, you can't control that. You try your best. Every parent tries best to mold the child just like them, and the child grows to be something else. And the parent themselves grew differently compared to their parents who wanted, right? So how much can you control? You have to realize. What can you control? You have to realize, and everything else you have to let go. Now the quality of engagement, right? So among all the ways of engaging, we saw that you can engage with desire, with emotion, with passion, with enthusiasm. All these things are great. But the best way to engage is yoga karmasu kaushalam, engaging with yogic equanimity, samatvam. That is the best way to engage. Why? Because ups and downs will come. When I was working, a lot of times I had to hire new developers. I had to interview people. So they will send a resume, and very top way they will have this objective. A lot of people would have objective to find a exciting, challenging job and do this and that and all. Then first question I would ask them: do you know any job that is exciting all the time? Because your challenging problem is they're writing some code and all. There's some exciting 1 month, and after that there'll be very boring documentation of what you have done. So you have to write, document, this is the thing I've done, how to use it, this and that. That will not be exciting. So how do you engage? I want challenging job. Any job is not challenging all the time. There'll be times when it's not challenging. So you engage with purpose. That is what Vidur says in Vidur Niti. That engage with purpose. What is the purpose of this action? Once you know that, then even if there's a low time, you will see through it. Then okay, I have a bigger purpose for it. Similarly, when you engage with samatvam, ups and downs will come, but you will survive all the ups and downs, and you will finally do your duties properly. So being same in success and failure, or getting or not getting the fruits, when you do that, that is the samatvam. And again, remember, it is not the lack of awareness to the results. That it's not like you don't even know, you don't even care what you're going to do something. No, you are fully aware of the results, but you are not attached to them. That is the main thing. And how does the understanding develop once we start applying this Karma Yoga principles? Niyatam Sanga Rahitam Araga Dveshtah Kritam Aphala Prepsuna Karma Yat Tat Satvikam Uchyate. So he's saying, what are the three different types: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic? There are a lot of things that are categorized that way. There's a dan, there's a karma, there is, food, and all these things are there. So a person who does sattvic karma, a person who has reached that state, doesn't happen immediately. Don't worry, but you have to keep at it. That's all. So niyatam, what has been decided, approved, or commanded by the Shastra and tradition, which means today's term we will say legal. So anything that is legal, you do legal, and what the society needs, you do that. Or the society says, oh, there's a shortage of doctors, then somebody will say, okay, let me go into that. Without pride of doership, that is the biggest problem in all of us. That when we think that, oh, I am so great that I did this. That is the biggest impediment to samatvam. Without liking or disliking. So you don't dislike failure, you don't like success, but if it comes, you're not disturbed. Which means that if you had success, then you're not like jumping in joy and the next job you do bad. Or you become overconfident. Oh, yeah, yeah, I can do everything. And I got this award from the president and all. And then your next job goes bad because you think, oh, I've achieved so much. Or if you fail, then you say, I'm not going to do it anymore. No, I'm not good at it. You can get good at it, right? And by the one who does not seek the fruits. So these four things happen when your understanding grows in karma yoga, and it will happen only with time, with consistent effort and patience and things like that. So, for example, someone when they start their job, they might be focused on following the rules, right? The rule book, guidebook, employee handbook, or whatever. They need constant guidance. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Because they just started the job. And they feel very anxious. Oh, what will boss say? If I make a mistake, oh my God, what will happen? What will happen? Right? What will my peers say? Oh, itna bhi nahi aata. Right? And then mainly we work for the approval of the boss. Boss said, okay, good job. That's it. Done. But with time, when you have spent 5 years, 10 years in the job, then you start understanding why the procedures matter. So earlier you're just following the rules. But with time, you understand why these rules are made. What is the point of this rule? Right? You understand that. And then you start doing it even better because now you know the purpose of that rule. And then you start taking initiatives, not just waiting for somebody to tell you do this. You after some time you'll say, what else can be done? Oh, I see this. Maybe this can be improved. Then you go and tell your boss, I think this is what we can do. So that is taking initiative on your own, right? Earlier you were afraid of making mistake. After some time, you say, okay, fine, I made a mistake. What's to be learned? How can we do it better next time? And it becomes not a problem, but just a learning step. And then you start finding satisfaction in doing good job rather than just approval. Okay, boss approve kar diya, that's it. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how the job was or whether you're satisfied or not. There is actually a satisfaction when you do a good job. You're all teachers, so I'm sure you know when some good students get wonderful marks and you top the list or whatever. Sometimes you'll find an answer in the answer sheet that is just like wow. And then you realize that this is your hard work, your good karma that is shining back in the student, and that satisfaction. 30 years later, somebody comes to you and says, sir, ma'am, you taught me in school, you taught me in college, and one day you said something like this, and that changed my life forever. When I was doing my master's in the US in computer science, so when you write the code, you have the actual code that will be checked and corrected by the computer compiler, and you have a section called comments, which the compiler will completely ignore because the comments are for your sake. It's like side notes in the margin. So when I went to the US and I did my first assignment, and that time it was in 1990, so we had to print everything out and do. It was not like today. So I took a printout of my entire code with the actual code and the comments on the side. And I used to make some typing mistakes because type fast, THE becomes TEH or things like that. Very simple typing mistakes. But they were in the comment, so the computer will not even check it. So my teacher circled the first spelling mistake I made. Then next page there was one more small mistake. Then again that circled. Third page there was one more mistake, and immediately there was -2. And I said, "Ma'am, why? This is just in comments. The program runs perfectly. The output is perfect. Everything is perfect. Why do you take numbers?" So you made a spelling mistake. I said, "Ma'am, this is not English class. This is computer class. The code works fine. Why do you take the?" You wrote that comment. That is your karma. You did not pay attention in that. Either you should have not done the comment, but if you typed, you should type properly. And I'm not exaggerating that one comment from 90 after 35 years, I remember it. Anytime I do anything, I remember. Whatever you're doing, you do it properly, otherwise, don't do it. So, one line from her, and I still remember it. So, no, doesn't, you don't know when you might impact a student. If you're doing a good job, you're getting satisfaction. Someday somebody will come and say, ma'am, sir, that day you told me, that day you scolded me, that day you praised me, that day you taught me this, and then this happened. Right? So this is what happens when you grow in understanding while doing a job. Right? Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. So we say we'll do tapasya, or we have heard of tapasvis who do very hard penance, and oh, I have to prepare for this. I'm going to study for 20 hours and sleep for 4 hours and go not talk to anybody, don't have any entertainment because I'm preparing for this and CA exam or law exam or JE advanced and all. That is not what is going to take away your dukkha. Dukkha ha. That person's yoga will not be taking the sorrows away. So what will take? Appropriate amount of time you have to spend in ahar vihar, which is food and entertainment. Vihar you can think of as entertainment, interacting in society. Kabhi movie dekha, kabhi picnic gaye, sometime take a vacation, go to some other place and all like that. Yukta cheshtasya karmasu, karma mein cheshta. So you have to appropriate amount of effort you have to do to earn a living also. So make sure you are worthy enough in the society, so somebody gives you a job, you can get a livelihood and all. So there also you have to try yukta cheshta and yukta swapna avabodha. So you have to take some proper amount of sleep also. Can you imagine Bhagavad-Gita, the epitome of spirituality, is talking such mundane things. You have to make sure you have proper sleep. And what is avabodha? Avabodha here is saying that in this animal life that we have got, right? We are just animals, biological beings. We are just trying to get some food, so we have to get a job, so we'll study something. That's all we are doing. When will you realize that you are human, and what does it mean to be human, and to be able to, be on the path of realizing the divinity or whatever that means? So the day we start doing that, every day you should do some little bit. Don't say, okay, at 70 I will start being spiritual. Then you're set in your ways and nothing will happen, right? So enjoying and sleeping, they both incur spending. So in one you're spending wealth, the other you're spending time. Time you're spending anyway. You're sleeping, that means you're spending your time. You're enjoying, you're spending your money. When you're working or growing, that time you're earning. When you're working, you're earning wealth. When you're growing, you're earning your growth, your individual growth. What is that individual growth? Because I always try to pinpoint to exact things. What do you mean by grow yourself? Right? Have patience, have equanimity, samatva. Don't get angry. Control yourself. Why should I do that? All that stuff? Because then your work will be better. Then you will. Other people will like you. People will like you. Have a boss who doesn't get angry all the time. You'll get promotions, whatever, right? So that is the growth, whether it is workplace or in life. If you get angry quickly, if you get frustrated quickly, jealous quickly, you have not grown as a person. So that is the growth that it means. And enjoying and working, they're both tangible. When you enjoy, you spend money, you watch a movie or eat something, tangible. You work, you get money, tangible. But sleeping and growing, you don't know what is the benefit. But the sleeping is required because you have to rejuvenate. If you don't sleep, then a problem. Madhyam abhayam. The Shatpat Brahman says Madhyam abhayam. The middle path is better. No extremes. Ati sarvata varjayet. Always ati is one. So you're sleeping for 4 hours, or you're sleeping for 14 hours. Both are wrong. Somewhere between 6 to 8 hours, you find some people can work with 6 hours. That's okay. Everybody doesn't have to sleep 8. But you should get up fresh. Right? So with this, I think we'll take a break. Namaskar, Sharendra ji.
हाँ महोदय, अब हम अपना जो ये दूसरा भाग है ब्रेक के बाद का, उस सेशन को चालू कर सकते हैं सर।
ठीक
जी, धन्यवाद सर।
तो चालू करने से पहले, बिफोर आई स्टार्ट, आई जस्ट वांट टू टेक some feedback from the participants.
श्योर सर, श्योर सर।
It can either be in chat, and you don't have to say it is great just out of formality. I've done enough and I've grown up enough to not worry about that. So I am also doing a karma of giving the talk. I'm not worried about how many are listening, how many are not listening. I said, I'm going to make a best talk possible for my own joy. Now,
सर
you are also doing karma, all of you.
चैट
You are
चैट को
sitting
देख
in
के लिख
this.
रहा है कि लोग अच्छे से सुन रहे हैं, बिकॉज चैट हम लोग देख रहे हैं तो बहुत पॉजिटिव वो आ रहा है
जी.
कोई
So, all of you, I want you to think in your own minds that you are spending this 3 hours. कर्म, अटेंडेंस है, कर्म है, 3 घंटे तो निकलेंगे. Are you paying attention and seeing what can I take out of this talk? Right? I'm not saying everything will be new to you, everything is something that you never thought of, and everything you'll implement. I'm not saying that. But are you in the present? Because whenever there is work from home, we all know in the IT industry, all these talks that happen online, we can mute, we can sometimes put the video off. We could be in the past, we can be in the future, but I hope that you're all in the present. And this is not the first or the last Gita exposition. I've tried my best to give you some practical applications, something that you can actually use. And a lot of times, what happens, whenever all these Sanskrit works, mostly we do spiritual only. There is a huge amount of Niti Shastra. It is rarely covered. And I think if you read Niti Shastra, you will get very much interested in all the Sanskrit works. That could be a starting point, and then you can, even go into spirituality. But what I'm saying is try to find something that is useful for you in this session, apart from the certificate. Hmm? See where you can apply in your. I'm not saying this will solve all your problems because the world is not ideal. The world is not fair. The world is run by Niti, right? The society is run by Niti. But all these yoga that we are talking about, whether it is Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, any of them, that could be the foundation for your thinking. That could be your guiding principles. That this is how I'll be guided. And given the circumstances of all the kinds of people are there in society, everybody is not good. This is not Satyuga. Even in Treta, they had problem, right? So Niti will be required. Even Ram had to think, do we take Vibhishan in or not? Right? Even he is Purushottam and everything, he had to apply Niti. Should we take Vibhishan in? So you will need Niti in your work. But what are you guided by? That should be the yoga. That should be the adhyatma. That should be the spirituality. That should be your guide. Okay? So I hope you will be benefited at least in part. That will be, my karma phala. Okay, so let's start from where we left. So we're talking about balance in action. So we talked about avabodha, yuktahar viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodha, swapna avabodha. So you have to grow yourself. So the question is, what is this avabodha, growing up, waking up, understanding? When should we start thinking of growing up, right? When should we think of, "अरे गीता गीता अभी क्या पढ़ रहे हो यार, अभी तो काम करो, मतलब राम का नाम लेंगे, मरते टाइम तो थोड़ा स्वर्ग मिल जाएगा, नारायण नारायण कर लेंगे, हो गया." When should you think of growing up? पहले तो वो studying, then I have job, then I have family, then I have this, then I have that. At 60, 70, 80, when will you wake up and say, I need to wake up? That is the avabodha. The example I would give is a fire drill. I don't know if it happens in the university, but in all the corporate offices and all, there's mandatory fire drill. So every few months, maybe 3 months, every quarter, they will have a fire drill unannounced. Then all of a sudden they'll say there's a fire drill, please go, and every floor will have a fire inspector. They will lead them through the stairs. You can't take the lift, and there's a designated zone, and then everybody is assembled there. Then they have to count the people, how many people had entered in the office based on the punch card. And then when you're coming out assembled there, you have to count each team, each floor leader will count and everything. It's nothing. 1 hour is wasted. Is that actually a waste? Because the day the actual fire happens, we would be more than happy that not a single person is affected. That would be great, right? So growing up is like a fire drill. देयर इज अ सेइंग दैट जिसने दुख नहीं देखा वो सबसे बड़ा दुखियारा है. If you have not seen failure, you have failed. Why? Because when failure comes, you will not be able to handle it. Okay? A lot of people can't handle success also, but very few people can handle failure. And all this spiritual thinking, all this yoga and all is preparing you because there will be a downtime in everybody's life. Ups and downs, dono hoga. Are you prepared for the downs also? Right? You're prepared to, okay, I should not give examples. I have to watch my audience. But the example I was going to give you is youngsters go to a party and then somebody will say, I'll drink 5 beers, I'll drink 10 beers, and you're just enjoying it and all. And then the next day, when you have a hangover and then you throw up and you vomit and you're, headache and all that stuff. So the up was there, then the down will also be there. So are you prepared for that? You should not wait. And I'm hoping that someday somebody will watch it on YouTube also, so the message can be for them also. Even if you're 20 years old, even if you're in college studying, please make sure you spend 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever, in avabodha. Read good books, watch good movies, listen to good stories, be in the company of good people. Even if you are not right now, okay? It takes every kind of person. Even if you're not, even if you are forced to do things that ideally you would not, spend some time in avabodh. This growth will help you in ups and downs. There's another saying that make friends before you need them. मुश्किल में आने से पहले दोस्त बना लो, तब पता नहीं कब जरूरत पड़ेगी. So this avabodh is your friend when the musibat comes. And as I said, a lot of people don't know how to handle success or failure. Both. Success also people can't handle. They make a lot of money and then they spend all the money and they get all the, bad habits and whatever loans. And there are a lot of known, very famous athletes in America who made millions and millions of dollars. Very, very successful icons. And after their career was over, they're just gone. Nobody knows. And a lot of them have gone bankrupt because they just couldn't handle the success. Right? There's a saying a lot of times, Viduji also says, that don't make any decision in great joy, sorrow, or anger. Because that time we are not able to think properly. Too happy, we can't think properly. Too sad, too angry, we'll make a wrong decision. We'll say something that will come to bite us. And then the famous one, दुख में सुमिरन सब करें, सुख में करे न कोय, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे को होए. Have you ever thought, what does it mean? भगवान का राम 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 करते हैं सब हो जाएगा. सुमिरन just means राम राम. What does it mean to be in the सानिध्य of भगवान? जैसे संतों के साथ रहो. संत कौन है? जो सत है वो संत. साधु doesn't mean गेरुए वस्त्र पहन के जंगल में घूम रहा है. A good natured person. सुमिरन here means when everything is going fine, सुख, तो हम कोई सुमिरन नहीं करें, सुख में करें न कोई. मुसीबत आती तब करते हैं. बीमार पड़े तो डॉक्टर को देखे. Right? But when you're healthy, your lifestyle is that you will fall sick. So when you're healthy, if you take care of your health, you will not see sickness. That is what it means. दुख में सुमिरन तो सब करें. एग्जाम से 2 दिन पहले तो सब पढ़ रहे हैं. सारे साल कौन पढ़ रहा था? जब प्रेशर नहीं था तब कौन पढ़ रहा था? राइट? सो सुख में जो सुमिरन कर ले तो फिर उसको दुख नहीं होगा. दैट इज व्हाट इट मीन्स.